Savant.
Oh my stars, Cole Curfew ties it.
He's in. He scores! Oh my! Davidoff!
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Another episode of the Curfew Boys podcast. Myself, Sammy, with my cousin, Chris. Hey now. How you doing, buddy?
Hey now, I'm doing great. Fantastic day. How about yourself?
Not so bad. So it was a overtime work day, but was looking forward to ending that shift because we have a podcast to record and we have an interesting subject to discuss, which I've been looking forward to all day. Before we get to that, I just want to thank all of our audience members. If you're tuning in on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please click like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. It's absolutely free. Hockey's on the way. There's a buzz in the air. There's a buzz in the city, especially with Ivan Demidov just pulling off highlight reels in 3v3 hockey tournaments and hockey leagues. So the hype is real. Share this with your other Habs friends all around the world. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. We love it. We cannot wait for this season to start. If you're also tuning in on any audio platform such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we thank you as well. Give us an honest rating and review. It's the only way we can feel the love. This episode is sponsored by Habs Cave. I'm sure Sunil is excited for this season to start. And, as always, fantastic human being. He's got the best man cave for any Habs fan out there. Follow Habs Cave on Instagram, TikTok for any content regarding Montreal Canadiens memorabilia. His whole basement is just full with it. You're going to absolutely freak out if ever you see it. If you've not seen it yet, check out Habs Cave on Instagram and also TikTok. And last but not least, Mike's Barbecue Rub, my buddy Mike in RDP, who has his own Canadian company making his own barbecue spice rub. It could be used for chicken, fish, vegetables, steak, meat. If it could be on the barbecue, you can definitely use Mike's Barbecue Rub. Even in this Montreal heat wave, it's still barbecue season. So go ahead and check out Mike's Barbecue Rub at Mike'sBarbecueRub.com. Follow him on Instagram and TikTok as well. He also uses his barbecue spice to create his own kettle chips, which are absolutely amazing. So give my buddy Mike a shout. But last and not least, always rub your meat. You said it like nice and slow and creepy.
Just the way it's supposed to be said, right? That's what Mike's paying us for, right?
Sure. Is he? Is he even paying?
I'm not so sure. I think he might retract the contract. If he does, it's on us.
If he doesn't hear this, we should be good to go. But listen, man, the more the days get closer to September, the longer it still feels. I don't know about you, but there's so many Habs fans out there that reach out to us and like, is it October yet? Like, even a lot of them are like, is it even September yet? Because September is like the start of training camp season, and we're gonna get a couple preseason games in there. And I think just everyone wants this young team to pick up from where they left off. Ivan Demidov is basically doing the tour of the city, and he's just meeting kids, and he's practicing, and he's participating in these 3-on-3 charity events, and just lighting it up and making Habs fan go absolute ballistic, going bananas. Okay, the hype is real. I know I keep saying it to the start of this episode, but there's Demidov, there's Patrick Laine practicing together, then there's Lane Hutson doing his thing as well after winning the Calder. I don't even know the words to use. Like, I'm so excited. I can't wait for this hockey season to start, like now more than ever.
Have you seen before? I am too. I am feeling the exact same way. I've been excited for a lot of seasons, but like this is really something else. I mean, even for the slightest bit of hockey, like I've never been so famished for what's to come. And even like the 21st, when the rebuild season 2
season 2 for sure
is going to be coming out, like anything. But I was I wanted to know if yourself or any Habs fans listening, you've been coming across the memes of like Lane Hutson. It goes like Lane Hutson showing up to the rink at 6 a.m. and discovering that Ivan Demidov has already been there practicing for 1 hour. No,
Yeah, that's
this
hilarious.
dude, these like you said, he's really doing Le Tour de Ville, the tour of the city over here on the ice. That is, this kid really is hockey obsessed, and I, for one, have no problem with it.
No,
Just to say,
none of I don't think anybody has a problem with it. If anything, everybody's admiring the work he's putting into just, just getting ready for an actual start of the NHL season. Put all that stuff that followed him with the KHL last year, and now he gets fresh start in the NHL with his new teammates. Like I said, pick up where they left off in the playoffs, and here we go. It's super super exciting. But for this episode, I really wanted to start digging into what the rosters can potentially look like. Now, I think the most interesting part of this roster, especially after the draft, is what it can look like on defense, what it could look like on the defensive side of things, and what you and I think, feel, or predict the defensive pairings will be. So there's a very good website called, I'm sure everybody knows, thedailyfaceoff.com. And they kind of come up with their own, I don't know if it's their own theory, but like they come up with their own predictions of what the lines could be before the season and then what the lines look like throughout the season. So I took the liberty to go check on the dailyfaceoff.com what the Canadiens defensive pairings could look like. And this is what we got for now. Okay. So the top pairing, they put Kayden Guhle with Noah Dobson. We'll discuss everything, but I think for now that's kind of the first pairing that everybody's expecting. Is it going to be that way? We'll only know once the season starts, but I think for now everybody's expecting that. The second and third pairing is actually, I find, very, very interesting. And so you have Lane Hutson on the left, Jaden Struble on the right. And then your third pairing, you have Mike Matheson on the left, obviously, paired up with Alexandre Carrier on the right. So this to me is a little strange.
what
Okay.
are they thinking? What are you thinking?
But
Sorry,
I
not you. I'm talking
I
about
also
them,
think
but I don't think they're Habs
but
fans.
but Lane Hutson and Jaden Struble have pretty good stats together, believe it or not. For the small amount of time they play together, they actually have some good stats. You could check out moneypuck.com. They're actually not one of the top pairings, but as far as the Montreal Canadiens pairings are concerned, when those two were paired up together, they actually did some pretty good things. But anyways, I'm going to start with the top pairing. I think Kayden Guhle playing with Noah Dobson makes absolute sense. Okay. And I also think Kayden Guhle is deserving of that spot because ever since he came into the NHL, he's been practically faced up against the opponent's top line all the time. And there was many times he played well against McDavid. There was many times he played well against Crosby. A couple of times he played well against Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs top line. I really, really, really believe, and I'm also looking within our own division mostly. Okay, I'm looking at the Leafs, the Panthers, the Bruins, the Lightning, Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, whatever. And the reason why I say Kayden Guhle needs to play with Dobson is because obviously we all know Dobson has a little bit is more of an offensive defenseman. He's got more of that offensive mind, and I think this allows Dobson. I think he knows. I think he's going to know for sure at one point that Kayden Guhle provides that defensive stability, even if he is young. And I cannot see Lane Hutson paired with Dobson. I can't see Mike Matheson paired up with Dobson either because they're two kind of listen, they played a lot of minutes for their respective teams at the time. They're obviously going to cause giveaways, but they are known to give away the puck and especially in their defensive zone a little bit. Now, mind you, Cale Makar had more giveaways, but Cale Makar, when he's playing 28 minutes a game, he's bound to cause some giveaways too.
Yeah,
So
and you constantly, like, the same thing for Lane Hudson. Constantly have the puck on your stick.
exactly.
There's obviously, it's naturally going to translate to more turnovers at the end of the day. And we're not talking about like Lane Hudson. I think is going to be very similar in terms of puck possession time, like Makar. But in that sense, you're going to have guys like when they're on the ice, they're going to be carrying it a significant portion of their shift. Usually, they're going to be ones to
Mm-hmm.
carry it in, make the original play, skate around with it and launch everything. And then once you get into the offensive zone, it's the same thing, kind of quarterbacking all the play at the same time. So again, understand where you're coming from, but I don't think Dobson or a guy like Matheson, who tend to have a lot of turnaways because they're playing maybe more minutes, still don't think they're up there in the Hudson slash Makar talks.
No, but and I'm on moneypuck.com here. In terms of takeaways, Mikhail Makar is second in the league after Jacob Slavin at 60, and then you have Lane Hutson third at 56. I know we've said this before, but
There you go.
just say, but Mike Matheson is actually at number 12 in the entire league with 43 takeaways. So and Dobson's ranked 24th with 36. So but I still think I see Kayden Guhle being able to handle that workload. I see Kayden Guhle being able to play over 22, 23 minutes. I think this is gonna be the season, pending everybody's healthy. He's gonna reach like those 22, 23, maybe even the 24-minute mark.
I don't disagree in the slightest. I'm gonna go on and say a few things. Like already, fans get ready because the day that Gallagher is no longer with the team, if he's no longer with the team, or the day that Mike Matheson is no longer with the team, I'm not going down the Suzuki path because Suzuki's here to stay for
Mhm.
a significant while. But when one of those two other players is no longer with this team, Kayden Guhle is the first guy to get an A. Just to be perfectly clear, and I think that's
1,000%.
again, unfortunately and it's not about wearing an A. It's not about the role and like what he brings to the team. But I just think Kayden Guhle is so well balanced and so defensively super. I was trying to say super responsible that he
Yeah.
knows like he'll know when he has to get back and that it's going to allow for a guy like Noah Dobson to truly flourish that at that point in time to kind of go take those offensive risks. And I think it's better suited in all honesty and the utmost respect to Kayden Guhle. He's a fantastic defenseman. I think he's better on the defensive side than he is on
Mhm.
the offensive side. We've seen him score a number of goals or he steps into the puck, has a good shot and
Yep.
everything like that. But he'll have the occasional offensive contribution as compared to, let's say, a guy like Hudson Dobson, or even let's throw Mike Matheson into the mix. So I just say you're getting your most experienced, NHL experienced top two offensive defensemen on the team to really be able to make riskier plays and go ahead. So I think it's a match made in heaven. I think that's a great
Mhm.
defensive pairing. I
Yeah.
would say we lock that in. And the only risk, fans, that I think could possibly come up at this point in time is that Kayden Goule's injured. Knock on wood, I can't be. It just cannot be. But that would be, I think, the only thing that would impede Kayden Guhle from having that top pairing spot.
1,000%. And again, these predictions and discussions that we're gonna have tonight, this is pending everybody's healthy. Like obviously injuries can happen, but
Mhm.
we're going into this discussion thinking everybody's healthy. Start of the season, day one. Nobody's gonna get a fucking nobody's appendix is gonna burst or ankle's gonna bust. Like everybody's going in healthy. Okay, like you said,
Yeah.
knock on wood. But anyways, I think the first pairing is pretty much. I think it's safe to say we can predict a Kayden Guhle, Noah Dobson top pairing. Okay. Second pairing. I still have Matheson going back with Lane Hutson on the second pairing. Okay.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Because I have a lot to say thereafter.
I do too, and I want to see Lane Hutson on the left side, but he's also he's just so skilled that like you could put him anywhere on the ice and he's gonna get the job done, right? And the reason why I say this is because I really truly believe deep down inside. Anyways, there's 1 year left on Mike Matheson's contracts. Who knows if he's going to return? Who knows if he's going to get traded? Whatever. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, he's still a Montreal Canadiens. I still think he's going to be paired up with Lane Hutson because let's face it, a good chunk of Hudson's success came when he was paired with Mike Matheson. Okay. Now, obviously, they came with their own issues of giveaways, turnovers. It's gonna happen. Lane Hutson made plenty of rookie mistakes, but he made plenty of unbelievable highlights and plays, and that's why he won the Calder, right? But I really want to believe that Marty is going to approach this particular pairing and he's going to tell Mike, you don't need to be the guy anymore. You're still the guy, but you don't need to provide the scoring anymore. Maybe I worded it incorrectly. You don't need to be the guy that provides all that offense anymore. We have a Lane Hutson and we want to get a Noah Dobson. Okay. You can all Mike Matheson needs to do is be the guy to either deliver a first good pass out of the zone, or he can still somewhat be that puck moving defenseman. If ever there's no play to do a breakout pass, but he can still skate with it. He can still retrieve a puck, a loose puck, or whatever, what have you. He can still do that. But I truly believe I want Marty to approach Mike Matheson the same way he approached Josh Anderson. After that year where Josh Anderson couldn't, no matter how hard he tried, nothing good was happening with that 1 year with Josh Anderson. Marty approached him, sold him a brand new role on the third line. Same thing. You don't have to be that guy that scores all the time. You just need to bring your speed and that forechecking. Use your big body, hit if you have to, and it worked. I want to see that sort of same approach to Mike Matheson, being like, you don't need to be the guy that forces the offense in order for us to get a goal. Like, just use your skating abilities to retrieve a puck, to make a good first pass. If you have to carry the puck out of your zone, if you have to dump it in the other one, do it. But like, you don't have to be that guy anymore to provide the scoring.
Yeah, I'm also in agreement. I think there's one permutation. So I think that could very well be the case just because it was something that again worked for a significant part of last year. They just had that pairing of Matheson and Hudson there. Is it what I would like? That's where I'm very, very, very hesitant. I will, just for the sake of discussion, I'll go to what I'm hoping, because I think in the eventuality, it goes without saying, it's going to be Hudson Reinbacher. And I think those two might even make a push to be the top pairing. I think those two are eventually going to make a push to be the top pairing. You're
I think
also
so
going to have
too.
those. I think Dobson and Guhle are going to be a lock for years to come. I
Well,
think it's a
at least
question of
for eight, for 6 to 8
that
years at least. Yeah.
that's it. Let's hope that we sign Hudson sooner rather than later. But then
Yeah.
I would say, like, the reason why I say I see Mike Matheson, like you, on the second pairing with Hudson is because by the time David Reinbacher is going to be coming into his own, as crazy as this might sound, I think Mike Matheson truly has a less and less of a spot on this team simply because of what other players are contributing and the style of play that he has. Wonderful leader, human being, as we've always said. But I just think that he becomes expendable, or if not, his contract kind of comes up. And at that point in time, again, becomes expendable for a trade. So I'm going to say this. I am going to say there's one reality where Mike Matheson is going to take that spot up until David Reinbacher is ready to come in. And there
Yep.
will be some mistakes made. Another perspective, or the other permutation that I see, is that Alexandre Carrier plays on that second pairing. It's going to be a little bit tougher for him. He's gonna be, he's gonna have to cover a little bit more and do, potential. I think Carrier is the perfect third pairing defenseman, like number 5 or 6 type defenseman. Perfect,
I
perfect,
agree.
perfect.
I
Number
agree.
5, 6, but they might want to get Lane Hutson in the habit of playing with somebody who's a little bit more defensively responsible than Mike Matheson. And I think it's not a case, it's public knowledge that Carrier is more well suited for defensive play than Mike Matheson is. So just for Lane Hutson's development, I think that is what's most important to the organization. They might want to have somebody who's going to be a little bit more responsible, like David Reinbacher, to already get him into that style of play, which leads me to the third pairing. I think you'll either have Mike Matheson or you'll have Alexandre Carrier. That's the permutation in itself. And then Arbor Jacki and Jaden Struble, I think, are going to be kind of in and out of the lineup and swapping when they're going to be more physical games and tougher opponents. Absolutely, you're going to have Arbor Jacki in the lineup. And Jaden Struble, if they maybe want to play a faster puck moving type game, not that that's his specialty, but he is a little bit quicker, arguably on that side than Jackeye is. As much as that hurts to say, like I really hope Jackeye can develop and really lock in that sixth spot and make it his own and be there for years and years and years to come.
Mhm.
I just do think there's going to be a natural rotation of those two on
Well,
the left side.
you do know that they're going to be fighting for that spot number. If you want to give Alexandre Carrier the spot number 5, Jacka and Schubel, there's that internal competition now where they're going to be fighting for number 6, and
Let's throw another
it's
name in there. There's another
yeah.
name. I know you know who it is. Adam Engstrom. Adam Engstrom is going to start pushing even for
Yeah.
Arbor, Jackeye, and Struble. Like I'm not saying out of camp. These fans out of camp. Adam Engstrom will not be making this team, but Adam Engstrom is an NHL defenseman. Question of time, and the spot that he's gonna occupy likely. I'm telling you, I'll go as far as saying this. Okay, this is a really bold prediction. But if, pray to God, if Kayden Guhle is injured for a long term and just it continues to repeat, I guarantee you Adam Engstrom has the potential to be your number 4 defenseman.
Woof, that's pretty bold.
That's a big one, but
I
yeah.
think I th- I think Angstrom needs to have a full season Laval to be your top 2 or your top 3 with a David Reinbacher. Now, I'm under the assumption, and I think everybody is, the Canadiens were hoping that David Reinbacher was coming into this season ready after having played a full season last year. Because of that injury, obviously we know how much he missed, and and that's causing a setback. What I do see happening is I do see a Hutson pairing with Reinbacher during the preseason games. I actually think we might actually see. I could foresee a Guhle Dobson playing one game. I could see a Hutson Reinbacher playing another. You might get maybe I don't know if you'll get a Guhle. You might get maybe an Angstrom Carrier. You might get I don't know. But I still think Adam Angstrom, I agree, will be an NHL defenseman. Is it going to be with the Montreal Canadiens? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
know Kent,
I
and
don't
I
know
know
either.
Kent Hughes. I know Kent Hughes drafted him the same draft year of Slavkovsky. But I still think one more year in Laval where he's basically either playing top pairing minutes on the left side or at least second pairing minutes on the left side. Whether he's going to be with David Reinbacher or if it's going to be William Trudeau that's going to be paired with Reinbacher, I don't know. But you could kind of see more or less how that might be looking in Laval for now. But I think an Arbor Jackeye could benefit playing with an Alexandre Carrier. And I know Jackeye and Savard had troubles. Savard was at the end of it was basically the end of his career, right? He was slowing down. I don't know if I think he was injured. I'm trying to remember saying if he was injured or not, but maybe that was one of the reasons why Jackeye was out of the lineup. I mean, who knows? Only him and Marty know, but I really think Arbor getting paired up with Alexandre Carrier being younger, yeah, he's not as big as David Savard is, but he could still provide. He basically, Alexandre Carrier is not replacing David Savard, but he's there to pick up what David Savard left. Like he's going to be doing that exact same role.
Barring the shot blocking, I think Alexandre Carrier, obviously, he's a better skater. He's gonna be able to cover in a lot better manner than David Savard. Really, like the poor guy, and like I fully respect his decision to take his retirement because he really slowed down. It was almost as though after he announced that it was going to be the end of his career, like he slowed down even more. And you
Yeah.
know, God bless him for really what he brought to the team through and through all the way up until his very last game. But Alexandre Carrier, better first pass and puck movement, better skater, going to be able to get back and cover for any defensive lapses of a younger defenseman like Jaden Struble or Arbor Jackeye. And I think the only thing that again we're going to be missing maybe is some of the shot blocking, particularly on the PK.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all around you do have maybe a slightly less tough, slightly less strong shot blocking, but better in all other regards player
Well,
in
you don't
Alexandre
think
Carrier.
You don't think Carrier and Guhle are gonna start filling in that shot blocking role? Like
They have to.
Guhle was doing a bit of it, but I think Carrier is gonna do that too. So I totally agree with what you said. How Xhaka and Struble are gonna be probably rotating, and I think that's probably another one of the most obvious things that might be happening within the defensive pairing lineup is those two are going to be and I don't really like it. I don't, but I understand it, and I have nothing against Jaden Struble. When he plays physical, man, the kid could hit too. And when he's focused, his game, him too, he plays well. But he doesn't have that Arbor Jack Eye factor. He just doesn't. Okay, like he doesn't have that. Jaden Struble could be mean. He really could be. Like the kid's in great shape. Like he's built like a Greek god, in the words of Marc Bergevin. But Arbor Jackeye just provides that
X factor? No pun intended.
yeah, well, that's one way of putting it. But yeah, it's Arbor Jackeye provides a little bit more of that security, that protection, a little bit.
because
You know,
fuck,
we all know that, but yeah.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. It's like like you said, Jaden Struble can lay the body, and he had some of the team's nicest hits last season. But if shit goes really astray and gets out of hand, I'm sorry to say, Jaden Struble, yeah, okay, he might hit me. Arbor Jackeye will murder you, will absolutely take your face off and do questionable things, which is needed, but it's what keeps guys in line. And you constantly hear it from all sorts of players and former guys like Andre Roy. I mean, he goes around on a lot of he most recently in the game in the little 3-on-3 games that he was commenting, you know, and it's not just him. It goes well beyond him, but every single hockey analyst, ex-player, like when Arbor Jackeye's in the lineup, the guys do not play the same game. They are 2 inches, 3 inches taller with Arbor Jackeye in the lineup, and like I said, that is something that is so important in this league, and that's why, to me, like, you ask me who would you keep of the two, like, it's not even a
Yeah.
question. It's
Yeah.
not even
No,
a
same.
fucking question. You can't buy what Arbor Jackeye brings. You can, but it's one. There's like 5 players in the league that bring that fear element into the opposing team's game, and Arbor Jackeye in a league of 700 plus players,
He's
he's one
definitely
of
one of them.
5.
Yeah. Yeah, 1,000%. So look, I think those are our 5-on-5 pairings. I want to go to the power play because I think more than anything, maybe not so much power play 1, but power play 2. There's a little bit more of a debate than we think. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the daily face-off here. And here's the power play unit number 1 that they have down, which I don't think I could fully disagree with this. Now I know we're not so much talking about the forwards here, but let's just look at it anyways. They have Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Demidov, Cole Caulfield, so 4 forwards, and the only defenseman they have on the first power play unit is Lane Hutson. The big difference this year for the Canadian success is starting Lane Hutson right away on the power play. And this is not a knock on Mike Matheson, but it was so obvious how much better the power play got when Lane Hutson was quarterbacking that first unit. Okay. And this is what I want for the first power play unit. But to add to that, this is also what I want for the second power play unit. Now, is it so much these exact players? I don't know, but you're going to get a Kirby Doc in there. You're going to get a Patrick Laine in there. You're going to get a Zachary Bolduc in there. That's 1,000% certain. Alex Newhook for sure. It's either Alex Newhook or maybe a Brendan Gallagher. But I like that Noah Dobson is the only defenseman on the second power play unit. I absolutely love this. Listen, this right here, I don't know if you see my cursor circling around Zach Bolduc and Noah Dobson, but this is another reason why Kent Hughes went and get these 2 guys to make this second power play unit that much better. No disrespect to Yoel Armia, and no disrespect to Christian Dvorak, and no disrespect to Mike Matheson, but those guys are not exactly power play specialists. Not Dvorak, not Armia, okay? Mike Matheson, if he was paired up with a Noah Dobson because, let's say, a Patrick Laine wasn't there, maybe. But I love the fact that you have one defenseman per power play unit, and they are both quarterbacks on the team. They are both your top offensive-minded defensemen on the team. Like, this looks not just better, this looks dangerous now. This looks dangerous.
I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited at the fact that we're going to have those two power play units that I think both, don't get me wrong, I give the clear edge to the first unit.
Mm-hmm.
I think also Laine has been, I think Laine was maybe scared of getting dropped down to the second unit. That's why he's playing so much with Suzuki and Demidov this summer to try to argue his case and get that chemistry going to stay there.
All those one timers that he's practicing, and yeah, sorry, go. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Sorry.
It's all good. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like having, like, I rather, for his development and for his betterment and for the long term, I rather be Cole Caulfield. Nothing against Patrick Laine, because Patrick Laine has a better shot than Cole Caulfield does. I don't give a shit who you are in Montreal, how big of a Cole Caulfield fan you are. Patrick Laine's shot
no denying.
is something else on the one-timer. Incredible. So I just don't want to see. There's a part of me that says Slavkovsky could easily shift onto that second power play unit.
Yeah.
For
net front presence.
Yeah, for let's say for Laine, but I don't like having, like, people say I like the idea of, I like people are saying I like the idea of having both Caulfield as a shooting threat and Laine as a shooting threat. I understand, but I really do not like Cole Caulfield in that bumper spot. He is naturally gifted in the same spot that Patrick Laine is, and I don't want to try to put Caulfield in a place where he's a less skilled. Like, Caulfield spent his whole junior career growing up all the way through into the NHL, playing the same spot on the power play, had a lot of success doing so. Does he have as good of a shot as Patrick Laine? No, but the one thing that I will say about, and this is where it was leading to, the one thing that I will say about having that particular one power play unit that you showed, meaning Slavkovsky, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Ivan Demidov, and Lane Hutson. Demidov is going to be a huge threat. Hutson will be able to find him. He's going to be able to, Demidov's going to be able to feed both Slavkovsky and Caulfield. It's going to make it less predictable. You still have the shooter on the left side in Demidov in that sense, and probably even Slavkovsky, who's going to shift around. You're going to have Demidov skating around a little bit a la Kucherov, meaning he's not. I don't think he's going to be locked into a position as much as the other four players. And I'm sorry, I'm just rambling over here, but
no, because I is Demidov going to replace? I think Demidov is going to replace Slav on that right side, though, on that right circle.
I do think, but I also see that. I also foresee a Demidov like being all over the ice. Like, he's going to be at the point. He's going to be behind the net. He's going to be at one of the face-off circles. He's probably not going to go as much to where Cole Caulfield or Patrick Laine are going to be. But I genuinely have a feeling like he's going to be cruising around and going all over the place, so that a guy like Slavkovsky can kind of drop over that face-off dot on the right side and line up for a one-timer. Like, I think, again, Demidov is going to be extremely dynamic. Hutson is going to be manning and quarterbacking that back blue line. Cole Caulfield's always going to be there standing in position. But if everybody's going to be starting to man Cole Caulfield, then again, you're going to have somebody like Slavkovsky who's going to drop right back to the circle, get open, and ready there to go.
See, I understand why you don't want Cole at the bumper, but if putting Cole at the bumper and Laine on the left side, like, teams won't know anymore. Teams can cover Laine all they want. If they leave Cole open in the bumper with his shot, his position, even in the slot, like, that puck is going to go in maybe 4 out of 5 times. So I see a double threat having both Liney and Cole on the first power play. Now, as much as Slav is used to playing with them, I just think that an elite passing ability and skill set from Ivan Demidov, you can't put him on the second power play unit. Maybe Marty's going to try it. I'm trying to think of different ways. Like maybe he keeps the exact same first power play unit that happened last season, and maybe you put Demidov on the second one to feed Noah Dobson, and maybe to give Kirby Dach a chance on the second power play, or maybe to give an Alex Newhook a chance on the second power play. I don't know if that's going to happen. I want to see. Do you want to see Kirby Dach kind of like crashing the net, or like block, or like try to block the goalie's vision a little bit like Slav does? Is Dach that kind of guy to do that, or is it no, screw it, you keep Demidov on the first power play, put Slav on the second power play to screen the goalie? You have a Zachary Bolduc that can shoot. You have a Kirby Dach that can shoot too. You have Alex Newhook, who's still a pretty decent playmaker and skater. He could definitely feed a Noah Dobson at the point.
The way that I see this, Sam, is think of it this way: you're going to have one guy kind of manning the middle of the
Yeah.
blue line. That's going to be Dobson and Hutson. And I'll get to this very, very quickly. I think there are two guys you mentioned, one Dach and Suzuki.
Mhm.
Where do those guys fit in on the power play? I don't think those guys are going to be necessarily at the blue line. I think they're actually going to be behind the net, waiting to send that pass to the front of the net. Or if a goalie is not attentive, you come for a wraparound. Like, I genuinely think that is the Dach/Suzuki spot where they're ready to kind of cheat and come into a secondary bumper spot. If not, they're going to be kind of playing it back and forth between Demidov, Caulfield, or Line and Bolduc. But I will say this: I think Bolduc is the perfect kind of guy to have right in front of the net, and Slafkovsky would be ideal right on that second shooting spot on the right
Well,
side. That's why I see Slafkovsky as the most dynamic guy to switch around.
but I think Bolduc has the better shot out of the two. Like, and
I
Slav has a
do.
very good shot, but I think Bolduc, like, you can't, if you want to utilize his shot, I don't think you could put him too close to the net to the point where he's actually crashing the net or screening the goalie. And the reason why I say Slav, because last year he made such a great habit of doing that. And a lot of his goals came from screening the goalie and deflecting the puck. And a lot of, like, Lane Hutson, most of Lane Hutson's goals, if you look, Slavkovsky's in the net. If you look at a lot of guys' goals that came from the points, because Slavkovsky's in front of the net. So that's why I'm wondering if maybe him being on the second power play to crash the net, screen the goalie, is better suited for him. If you're going to use Ivan Demidov on the right side, left-handed shot, to maybe quarterback that right side of the ice while Hutson maintains the middle. But Nick Suzuki might play the second point too, though. Kind of.
I think so too. That's possible.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, there might be a triangular tic-tac-toe play going on between Suzuki, Caulfield, and Demidov in the corner. But if let's say Cole gets covered by defensemen covering that bumper slot, you leave Patrick Laine open. Suzuki can feed him the puck, Demidov can feed him the puck, or Lane Hutson can feed him the puck. Like, that first power play unit, I know we didn't really want to talk about the forwards, but like, we kind of have to, because it really ties in with the defensive pairings. But I think the special teams this year, I truly, I mean, it goes without saying, special teams is important for everybody in the league. But I think a good part of the Canadian success as a young team, whether you still believe they're in a rebuild or not, like, we're still in that phase, the learning and the growing and the developing together. The special teams is going to be crucial for future success of this team. So we talked about the power play. I want to talk about the penalty kill now, and this is where I think guys like Guhle, Matheson, Carrier, and eventually Xhekaj or Struble, whoever gets in first. So I'm going to bring up the pairings that, once again, the Daily Faceoff has for the first penalty kill. Now here they have Jake Evans, Josh Anderson, which I actually think is, especially now that Yoel Armia is gone, I wouldn't be surprised to see Josh Anderson getting a little bit more of a defensive role, not really to replace Yoel Armia, but maybe hopefully do some of the things he did. But I like this Kayden Guhle, Alexandre Carrier pairing. Here's your shot blocking duo right over here, like right off the bat. And I think this is safe to say that this pairing is going to happen. Whether it's on the first penalty kill unit or the second, I can't see anything better than Kayden Guhle and Alexandre Carrier.
I agree. I don't think
Okay.
there's any argument. Like this was a unit that played together most of the time last season, except you had probably Savard ahead of Carrier. Don't
Yeah.
touch it. Don't do anything. No debate. Let's close the subject and go to their second.
Yeah,
penalty
well,
kill
that's
unit.
pretty fun. Now the second penalty kill, excuse me. Yeah, I could definitely Suzuki's for sure going to be there. Is it going to be an Alex Newhook? I don't know. Again, that's amongst the forwards. But for me on defense, I think if you're going to take away Mike Matheson's ice time from the power play, I think you should use him on the penalty kill, and you put him there with either Struble or Jackeye. I think you could. Anyways, one thing that yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. One
Oh.
thing that people need to realize, yeah, I'll say this. A lot of people are like, we need to trade Mike Matheson. We need to trade Mike Matheson. We need to trade Mike Matheson. Okay. All right. For argument's sake, it's the final year of his contract. Maybe he's at the age that he's at, we could probably get the most for his value that he's got right now. You're going to have to play Mike Matheson somewhere in order to sell him if you want something good in return. If you're not going to put him on the power play, you have to put him on the penalty kill. If you want to showcase him for a trade, if you want to make room for David Reinbacher, somehow you're going to have to showcase him. If it's not going to be on the power play, it's definitely going to be on the penalty kill.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think Mike Matheson should absolutely be a staple on the second PK, and well, has Struble there, but those two guys, especially Arbor Jack, I can clear the front of the net with more ease than any other player on this team, and on 95%, like with 95% of his opponents. I would go as far as saying that, like, he has so much potential to become a fantastic penalty killer. I really hope that they invest in both Struble and Jackeye, particularly Jackeye. I really hope that they invest the time and effort to make them those specialists to kind of cover for maybe the loss of David Savard. So that I think, again, very much agree with those those selections. For anybody we've said it a million times before, for anybody who's saying, where's our $9.5 million defenseman and Noah Dobson? Why isn't he playing the PK? Nah. You give him lots of 5-on-5 time. You give him lots of power play minutes. That PK unit, that power play unit, I think is going to be arguably split down the middle, 1 minute, 1 minute, unless they're dominating their shift. I think it's going to be really, really, really evenly split. And the other thing that I'm going to say too is don't forget about guys like Nick Suzuki is slotted in on that second as that second center position on the PK. I will be perfectly frank with you. I don't want to see Nick Suzuki there unless one of the other guys, and I'll get to the other guys in a second, one of the other guys is in the box. I think a guy like Joe Veleno, or even a guy like Sammy Blais, that has more of a physical shot blocking type of game. I think those are also good guys that you can try to play. And Nick Suzuki, I know we keep saying Patrice Bergeron, and I think he could eventually get there. But Nick Suzuki is also a guy that if let's say one of the power play guys gets injured, he's automatically somebody that could be playing 2 minutes. I think 5-on-5, you play him and you play him and you play him and you play him. But I would say I don't also necessarily want to tire him out. Like, he's a young athlete. They're supposed to be built to play, as much as you need them to play. But I also think that it's maybe it shouldn't be our instinct to throw him into every situation. Yes, sure, we want to replicate that Petrus Bergeron type of player who you can throw on in any given situation. And yeah, maybe if it's like end of the game, I would still say Nick Suzuki gets on because you're in your last few minutes. and you're not really forecasting much offensive play. You're trying to stay alive and hold on to the lead. So all this to say is, I would actually like for there to be another guy or two that are taken into consideration, like a Joe Valeno and a Sammy Blais, and I mean, am I forgetting anybody else? Even Gallagher, like Gallagher, probably not the number one penalty killer, maybe a little bit on the slower side, but nevertheless, I hope they alleviate Nick Suzuki's role just a tiny bit on that side.
But I can't wait for our next episode to really dive into the forwards. I think when Joey, and I think we're gonna be, our next episode's definitely gonna be, we're gonna be diving into the forwards. I think Joey's about to join us straight from South Korea, and I agree with you. And I want to say so much about it, but I don't want to spoil, not the surprise, but I don't want to give away my actual thoughts about it, because next episode we have, like, we're going to be touching the forwards, and there's still a debate to be had with the bottom six and the penalty killing.
Yep.
And I didn't even include the second line center, but we gotta work with what we have for now. But I really enjoyed this talk about, like, the pairings, and I really think you mentioned one thing. Where's our $9.5 million defenseman? Noah Dobson's able to play against the opponent's top pairing. When you have Guhle and Dobson doing that, and then you throw out a Lane Hutson pairing after that, up against the second line, third line, or even the fourth line, like, that's dangerous. Like other teams are going to start having nightmares probably. And I know I'm probably bolstering and boosting their, like, my own ego as a Montreal Canadiens fan, sounding biased, like, off the yin yang, but it's this is why they went to get Noah Dobson, because now you have your top two, your first pairing and second pairing are bringing in offensive threats. And by bringing that Noah Dobson in, you provide a little bit more, I don't know if stability is the right word, but you allow Mike Matheson to play less minutes on the power play and maybe focus on the defensive side. You know, that, like, you know what I mean? You do that. You allow Arbor Jacka or Jaden Struble to get it. Alexandre Carrier. You actually fulfilled the roles now. Now guys know what the roles are going to be, especially on defense. Like I said, if Marty approaches Mike Matheson the way he approached Josh Anderson, he gets an actual role and he buys it. Mike Matheson's going to know his role. Kayden Guhle is going to know his role. Dobson, Hudson, they're going to know their role. Carrier, 1,000%. Struble and Jacki, they're fighting for that spot. No matter what role you give them, they're going to take it with open arms. But we all know what they bring, especially Arbor Jacki. Finally, there's a sense of mental stability of what guys can do and when they can do it when their shifts come on the ice. That's a fantastic thing to have, I feel. Yeah. Nobody's lost anymore. Nobody's lost anymore. Everybody's on this.
It's years that we've been asking too much of a lot of guys. Way 1,000%. Too much. Like
1,000%.
Like, even again, I will reiterate, because it's like shame on me, even though I was the guy who picked Josh Anderson once upon a time to score 30 goals. I do really like Josh Anderson.
Same.
But on that side of things, like, Josh Anderson, we were ready to talk about trading this guy for kind of whatever another team was willing to do to take, willing to give to take on his contract. After last season's playoff run, I am so sorry. My apologies directly to Josh Anderson and his entire family for spreading any sort of negativity on your behalf. You absolutely have nailed this new role that you're talking about. I don't think we're asking too much of you, but he is effing nailing it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait, Chris. It's super exciting. I can't wait to discuss our next episode about the forward group and what those lines and those combos are going to look like. That, because I think there's a lot more question. I'm not saying there's. I think there's a lot more question marks. I think some are a little bit more obvious than others, but it's not. I don't think it's as easily settled as it is on the defensive side. So I'm glad we tackled this topic for this episode. So that's all I got.
I'm good with that. I just cannot wait. Come on,
Yeah.
training camp. Let's go.
Is it October yet? Well, once again, folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Curfew Boys on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. It's absolutely free, and share this with your Habs fans, friends all over the world. We are almost there. It's almost training camp time. It's almost preseason time. A big thank you to our sponsors, Habs Cave and Mike's Barbecue Rub. Please give them both a follow and a shout out on either Instagram or TikTok. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other audio podcast platform, thank you so much. Please leave us an honest rating and review. It's the only way we can feel the love. Chris, thank you so much for doing this with me tonight. Really, really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you on next episode's recording. Hopefully Joey joins us, and maybe some of the other Curfew Boys might join us too. But until then,
Bye now.
Good night.
Honesty.